Steve Stanek here, the Dusty Keratometer. So this is the explanation video for what was really happening in this photo right here. As I mentioned, but you may not want to know this, it's not quite as dramatic as some of the possibilities. This was taken in 1974 at the Heidelberg Castle. Now, I'll be honest, I got these color pictures off of the web just to show real quick. This is the classic photograph of the Heidelberg Castle. I was lucky. I got to graduate from high school in the Heidelberg Castle. How many kids get to graduate in a castle? I mean, boy, awesome. But this is the river in front. A lot of people are confused. They think it's the Rhine. It's not. It's the Neckar River. Technically, the castle is a ruin, but part of it is still fine. And the other thing, very interesting, they several times during the year they have what's called the burning of the castle, where they shoot off fireworks and use pyrotechnic illumination and such. It's very dramatic with really a nice thing to attend. Another thing it's known for is it has supposedly the world's largest wine barrel, which is interesting because when you think about Germany, you usually think of beer, but of course they also make a lot of wine in Germany. So here's that. And here's a color photo of the fountain that we were using. So it's actually a pretty simple explanation. We were filming a movie. This is our instructor, Wanda McCaller, really an awesome film instructor. And so we were in Mrs. McCaller's film class. We were doing this movie. And I actually did crop this photo a little bit. Here's pretty much a full frame, and you can see this man on the left. He was a workman, a laborer, and he was just stunned. I mean, you see him turned around with the wheelbarrow the wrong way, and he's just looking at us. He's like, "What are these crazy American kids doing here?" You know. And I think he almost wanted to tell us to get the heck out of the water, but he didn't really know what to do. So he just stood there and watched. I mean, it was kind of funny. The guy in the water was Richard, and here's a photo of him in happier times. He was actually we had two valedictorians. We had co-valedictorians, a girl and a guy. Richard was the guy. So I think he was a 4.0 student. Brilliant guy, amazing. So he was acting, and I don't even remember the script, but the reason he looks in distress is we were having a hard time getting the right take. The reason this one gal had two purses is she was actually holding the purse of Kristen, who was here operating the camera. Next to Kristen is Don. I believe he was directing. I don't remember the plot or what we were trying to do, but we were having trouble getting the shot, and so that's why Richard was getting a little bit exasperated. And here we have a photo from behind, the other angle, and we actually had a wheelchair there, which we would use for dolly shots. We could just put somebody in the wheelchair with the camera and wheel them along. Eric was sitting in the wheelchair, I believe. So here's a wider shot, a shot from the other angle, from behind, and you can kind of see all the players there. So well, it was 43 years ago. I do not even recall this girl's name. I loaned my high school yearbook from my senior year to a classmate. I think he was the guy that borrowed it. He's kind of a strange guy, very quiet, and he was trying to contact some girl. I hope he wasn't stalking her in our class. And I think he mentioned on Facebook or somewhere that he was, what he was up to, and he'd lost his yearbook or something. And so I offered to loan him my yearbook, and this was like 12 or 15 years ago, and I've never gotten it back. He claimed he was going to scan the book and give it back to me. It never happened, so it's kind of unfortunate. If someone's a little strange in high school, there's no reason to think they're going to be not strange another 30 years later. That's a lesson I learned from this episode. I should probably reach out to him and try to contact him and get my book back, but whatever. So sorry if this bursts anybody's bubble, because it's not quite as dramatic as some of the possible other explanations could have been. But this is what really transpired. There was a radio show, Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. This is the rest of the story. This negative sat in my negative file for almost 40 years, and then I went back. I was scanning them into digital form to share on Facebook, and I looked at it and I thought, that's kind of a neat picture, you know. So I wonder what other gems are in my negative file. I have to go take a look. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.